So
Awesome.
I'm Dennis Palatov. I'm the founder of Metalinxx. I've been working with AI for over 3 years and really deeply engaging with it for over a year. And in my work, the need that I saw almost immediately is the need for governance of AI. And especially when agentic AI came out early on, we have agents taking action and really no way of governing those actions. So what we've built is it's both a vision and a solution. So it has two components to it: public infrastructure, which we call Web 4, and that's a set of tools and primitives like TCP/IP and HTML at that kind of level that allows the actual Web 4 governance tools to be built on top of them. And then we have an enterprise product we call Hardbound, which is built with the tools to provide organizations with ways of providing accountability, auditability, regulatory compliance with their use of agentic AI. And so why Web 4? AI agents are already taking actions everywhere. You see it throughout, from changing calendars to booking appointments to now they're even opening bank accounts. And what we have right now is the infrastructure of Web 1, which gave us access to information. Then we had Web 2, which gave us a way to participate through platforms, through social media, through various peer-to-peer applications. And then along came Web 3, which gave us a way to own digital assets. And more importantly, it gave us immutable ledgers to keep track of transactions that anybody can inspect and that are very hard to falsify. And so Web 4 builds on top of all of those things, and it creates something that hasn't existed so far. And it's a new concept, and we call it presence. It's a combination of identity. It's a combination of earned trust, not just some authority saying trust this, but trust earned through performance, through auditable reputation. Another key piece is context, because agents operate in context. Think of it as like a job description. And when the job description is properly scoped, properly authorized, then the agent can do its work. If it isn't, then the behavior changes completely. And it's really no different than governing humans in that regard. If you have poor job description, you don't know what to do. Sometimes you do nothing. Accountability is the key. The last key part of presence is that you have to be able to track where the action originated, who's responsible, who made the decision, when, and by what rules and on what basis. And so to demonstrate that, we did a pretty dramatic thing. You may be familiar with the ArcAGI 3 benchmarks. And what we did is we took Claude, just off the shelf, Claude Opus 4.6, which normally scores 0% on that benchmark. And we've given it an environment built on Web 4 primitives that enabled it to be successful at solving the games. We scoped the problem much greater than just playing one game. We tasked it to figure out how to solve all the games, and it did. It scores 94.85% on the publicly available games, and that's a verifiable public scorecard, which is linked there, and I can provide links later for anybody who's interested in it. So it actually did what it couldn't do in another context. The difference isn't the model. The model is the same. We didn't fine-tune it. We didn't do any adaptation. But what we provided is the permissions and the structure for it to perform very, very differently. It went from 0% to 94.85%, which is essentially human-level performance on the benchmark. And the difference was the structure. And Web 4 is what provides that structure. So as I mentioned before, each web generation really answered different questions. Web 1 gave us access to information. Web 2 let us participate. Web 3 gave us ownership. and traceability of transactions through blockchains, immutable ledgers. Web 4 creates presence. It allows us to say what agent did what, when, on whose authority, and what rules, what was it playing by, and what consequences were of those actions, so we can build a reputation. These are not just log files. These are verifiable, cryptographically trackable records that use Web3 technologies to do that. And so the 4 pillars of presence are, of course, identity, which is not a single score, not a single name. It's a combination of what machine does it run on, who's the user, what is the model, what is the context of it. Trust is a part of identity as we see it. It's accumulated through performance that you can verify, not just hearsay, not just saying, hey, here's a certificate, here is a token, here is a API key, so you can trust this. No, in our view, Web4 provides the tools for building trust on demand in context. So context, again, is what were the rules that the agent ran it? And to my example, from 0% to 94.85%, the only difference was context. And so if I say Claude scores 0 on the benchmark, it's true in one context, but without saying what context, it's meaningless. Just like my claim, it's a publicly verifiable claim that it scores 94.85% in my context. Again, somebody can say, well, but it scored 0 there. And so I have to prove. Right now, it's through a public Git repo that's MIT licensed. You can go and examine how exactly we did that. Web 4 provides more immediate and more usable tools for that. And so what we have is the GitHub repo, which is open source, which has full standard specifications, SDKs, sample implementations, all kinds of things. And then we have Sage, which is the environment that was built on top of Web 4 that enabled Claude to score, over 90%. And so Hardbound takes it a step further. So Web 4 is an open standard. We're proposing it for everybody to use. We don't want to own it, and we shouldn't own it. Nobody should own it. It should be shared.
Just a quick reminder.
Okay, go ahead.
If you want to leave some time for questions, if you want to leave some time for questions, maybe it's time to start wrapping up.
Okay, well, let me wrap up real quick. I'm almost done. So Hardbound is our enterprise product, and basically contact us for that. What it brings is hardware-bound identity. And so it brings the next level of trust and traceability so that in finance, defense, healthcare, you can actually prove to the auditors and regulators how you've managed AI, how decisions have been made. So Web 4 is a standard. We invite everybody to participate, contact us for that, and try it. Break it. All the APIs are there. All the repo is open source, and we're eager to engage with the community and see what everybody builds on it. So that's that part. The only other thing I want to share real quick, and that can be part of the questions too. So actually, let's open up to questions, and then I'll share the other thing later because it has just a lot more detail to it.
Yeah, awesome. Let's bring our judges up real quick. And yeah, there we have it, everybody. Awesome. Let's start with Ankush. You were last before. You can be first now.
Sure. Thank you, Dennis, for the presentation. I just have one question. So how does this framework extend when it interacts with multiple agents? How do you track it? How do you track the responsibility of each agent?
It's built fractally. It's built from the lowest point on up. In other words, the primitives that you install on your computer provide an interface for others to interact with it. And so when there are multiple agents, you have multiple instances. Each agent has its own, we call it linked context token. So through which it projects its presence and is auditable. So it scales fractally is the quick answer to that. The details are all in the SDK and in the repo, and there's over 1 million lines of code there. So,
Sure. Thank you, Dennis.
sure.
Awesome. Masoom?
Thank you for the nice presentation. So yeah, I do not have that much question, so I would move forward to the other judges.
Awesome. Thank you, Masoom. Shubham?
Yeah, sure. So I have like one very general question. I wanted to understand like how you guys are different from HeyGen, which actually provides feature tech distribution model very similar to you.
What we're doing, to my knowledge, is unique because we are providing a way of tying an agent to a specific place, giving it identity and giving it auditable reputation that anybody can come in and, with the proper permissions, and audit what the agent did, what the decisions, what tools were used, who authorized it, what authority it was acting on. And you do see some of that start to show up in like Claude Code. Anthropic is adding some of the governance features that we actually proposed in a plugin to them. But we're providing a coherent framework on which everybody can build that. Yes, others are building these things, and we feel that for the industry to really benefit, there should be a common standard. Like TCP/IP, if everybody had their own packet protocol, internet wouldn't work. It relies on the common standard being the common language. It doesn't specify what's built. TCP/IP doesn't define what the internet should be. It enables the internet to be whatever we need it to be. And it's the same with Web 4.
Got it. Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you for your question, Shubham. Gangdar?
Yeah. Hey, Dennis. It was a nice one. So just my question, because from the infrastructure perspective and everything, right? So it right now, it is been integrated or certified with whatever the SOX compliance we have. Will this be supported, or how? Because I think you was talking about the trust and everything, right? Because in the current market, we have a tokens, we have a certificates, SSLs, and different ways of doing it. So,
Right.
so when you're getting this framework or this AI related agent, everything, right? So will it also meets the SOC standards? Because right now in the industry, most of them follow the SOC standard, right? So
it builds on top and extends them, because right now with the tokens, with the API keys, the token is the key. And once it's granted, it's a bearer instrument. Anybody showing up with a token can do whatever the token is authorized to do. And there's been some very recent high-profile breachers. Vercel is one of them, where that was used as an attack. In Web 4, token is not enough. It's not a key. It's a piece of evidence. Just like you would in normal life, in human interactions, somebody shows up and says, I have a badge. Now I'm entitled to do whatever. You're free to question it. Is the badge real? Are you the actual person who the badge is issued to? Does the badge actually permit you to do? Are you authorized to do that? The badge alone is not enough. And so we already, as humans, we build these trust contexts. We don't just blindly trust authority. And in the current scheme, whenever somebody compromises and steals the credentials are everything. In Web 3, for example, it's complete anonymity. You own the key, you have the thing. Somebody takes the key from you, now they own it legally. It's like somebody breaking into your house and saying, oh, I now have the key. And everybody says, yeah, that guy now owns your house, too bad. That's not how societies work, and that's not how they should work. And so Web 4 provides the tools for trust to be built and established on demand for each transaction, rather than just having it tied to certificates. So we incorporate the certificates and we build on top of them, but the certificate is no longer the single thing that gives you access to everything. It's just one piece of evidence in the trust building exercise.
So obviously, internal, it does a multi-level of authentication. Right now, how we have a MFA multi-level of authentication. So on top of that, any additional feature is coming for more secure perspective here with this one?
Yes, and the key difference is that Web 4 provides mechanisms for witnessing. So it's not just multi-factor, it's omni-factor. It says that, I'm working here and all of my coworkers witness that I'm working here. So when somebody comes in and I say, hey, I represent company X, they can go and query the coworkers, say, is he actually working, and have as many factors as you need. You can query the company's token itself, and then you can query the government's token. Is the company authorized to operate and do all of these things? And for transactions that require that kind of trust, that is available and it's computable, which is the new feature, which is not available by any other means right now. For transactions that don't require much trust, then you just don't go that deep through the ontology tree.
Hope that. I think if that level of it's done, means I think might be you will help the complete world to stop the cyber attacks there.
That is the goal. That is the ambition. And we believe that the tools that we have will enable it, because it's a governance problem, right? Attack, crime is a problem of governance, and it's not new. It's the same in human society. We're mapping what we've learned from even biology, immune system, all of that. We're mapping it to the agentic AI age, basically. This is what we're doing.
Awesome.
Hope that will help us. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, good.
Thank you, Gangdar, for your question. Thank you all the judges for their questions. Dennis, thank you for your time, for presenting. Thank you for being here. Again, any questions that wasn't answered or still needs more clarification, please shout out and I'll pass it on to Dennis. Now let's bring our next presenter to stage. Awesome. Thank you guys. See you soon.